welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 130. It's Wednesday, January 7th, 2015, and oh my gosh, this is the first episode of the new year. Yay! So everybody who celebrated, obviously, everyone around the world celebrated New Year's, duh. Yeah, I hope everyone had a very happy New Year's Day. Yeah, my cat's in the background. I don't know if you can see her. She's kind of, I will get into it a little bit later, but yeah, our apartment's a little sterile right now, if you can tell. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But yes, this is a knitting, spinning, and hand dyeing podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are a new viewer, welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy. But yeah, so let me get into what's happening again. Yeah, as you know, me and Dennis, we are planning to move very soon. So very quickly, actually. So yesterday we had photographs taken of our apartment for the real estate listing. So our real estate agent's advice was to just declutter, get everything out, and we decluttered, as you can clearly see. So everything, it's actually taken out of a page of unhappyhipsters.com. If you're not familiar with that website, check it out. You'll know what I mean. But yeah, everything's very clean lines, clean surfaces. It does not feel like a home right now, if you know what I mean. So needless to say, my entire knitting life and my business is shoved into a tiny, not tiny, but like it's shoved into a closet basically. So today I've just been picking stuff out that I need, and it's stressful. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, otherwise I'm making it work. We're making it work. So yeah, yesterday we had the photos taken, and then this weekend we're having an open house. So everything that I took out has to go back in the closet. And yeah, so you can imagine. But yeah, so maybe I'll talk about more of the moving stuff at the end of the episode in the blather section. But yeah, okay, show notes. What do I have to talk about? Yes, Happy New Year. I covered that. So, okay, I meant to talk about this in the last episode, but I don't know, it slipped my mind. I didn't write it down in the show notes, but it's important, and I feel like I should talk about it right now. So I will be joining a panel coming up on January 25th, which is a Saturday, is it? I don't know, January 25th. It's either a Saturday or a Sunday, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. At the Brooklyn Library for the Brooklyn Fiber Arts Guild, which I am super excited about. My friend Rachel reached out to me, and she asked if I'd be interested, and I said yes. So me and a couple of other panelists will be talking about blogging about yarn and crafting. So obviously I have a blog, I have a podcast, I have a business. So of course I said yes. I will be joined by Maria from the Subway Knits podcast, Marsha from One Geek to Craft Them All, and Sarah from Knit York City. So it should be really interesting. If you're going to be in New York City around that time, that weekend, definitely stop by. I will post a link to all the info in the show notes for sure. But yeah, you'll have a chance. I will be talking pretty much basically about blogging about knitting and using that. I was going to talk about, how to kind of use social media as far as, your small businesses is concerned. So if you're a crafter or whatnot, or you're selling something on Etsy, how to tie all that in together with blogging, podcasting, tweeting, Instagramming, and everything like that. So I will definitely be happy to talk about that stuff. And also, which I'm very excited about, you will be able to purchase some of my yarn. So I will have some of my yarn on hand, and I know Marsha from One Geek to Craft Them All will also have some of her awesome stitch markers on hand. So definitely stop by. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun, very interesting, and yeah, so I look forward to seeing you there if you guys feel like stopping by. Also, what do I have to talk about? Yeah, I guess that's it for updates. I will talk about shop update stuff at the end in case you're not interested. But now I'm going to move on to what's off my needles, because again, I have stuff that is off my needles. And of course, I forgot to bring one of those things with me. Okay, so I went to get all my my finished objects because I did not have them with me. So I apologize for that cut right there. But anyway, Okay, so I have a hoe, which is another sock, yet another sock. And this is out of my out of the yarn that I purchased from Gauge Intention when they first opened up during their launch party. And the yarn is Sleep Season in the Gauge colorway. So she dyed up a skein, a colorway specifically for Gauge Intention. So yeah, I finished one sock, obviously. And I really love the way that it knit up. I mean, it's so fun and like neon. Like generally I'm not a neon-esque person, but I really love the way that the yellow kind of plays with the muted tan and navy blue and the speckles. And that's the only way I can really enjoy neon colorways or like neon shades is if they're intermixed with neutrals to kind of like tone it down just a smidge or, you know, kind of add like a little pop to it. But yeah, just this is my basic vanilla cuff down favorite sock pattern. So yeah, just one down, and I believe it's 100% superwash merino plus nylon. So it's a very squishy base, and I love it. So yeah, I am on to the second one. I haven't made much progress on it. Let me see if I can get this. So yeah, this is where I am on the second one. Not much progress at all, but I wanted to make sure that I got it started so I didn't get second sock syndrome. And I am knitting these on my US Carbons. My US Carbons. Knitter's Pride Carbons. I can get that to focus, but these are size US 1.5, which that size is my go-to knitting needle size. I just feel like I get the perfect, you know, not so to speak, Gauge Intention when I knit socks with them. But yes, it's US 1.5 and then 2.50 millimeters, in case you're curious. So, and I'm really liking the way these are knitting. Or I really enjoy knitting with carbons because they are light. They're very light, actually. And the tips are pointy, but they're not stabby. I think I talked about this before, but I used to have a pair of, or I still do have a pair of signature needles, which, I mean, they look fun and stuff like that, but they're really stabby and they hurt when I knit with them. So, but these are a very happy medium, I'm finding. And the cable's not as floppy. So, yay. Wow. Let me see. What else? Oh, I need some tea. It's still the morning, I think. What time is it? 11:34 and I'm still not awake. Oh, gosh. Oh, and this is my... We're talking teacups. I notice this is a theme on a lot of podcasts. People show off their teacups, but this is another stocking stuffer from Dennis. It's my sriracha. If you're not familiar with sriracha, it is a hot sauce. Very heavy on the garlic. It's spicy. Like I love spicy sauces and stuff like that, but this is very garlic heavy. And if you love spice, I highly recommend you get it. It's not super expensive at all. You can get it at your grocery store or whatever and just put it on everything. That's what I do. But yeah, Dennis got this for me for Christmas and he knows that I like sriracha. We both love sriracha, so I'm drinking tea. And the tea of the day is apparently Bengal spice from Celestial Seasonings, which is chai. So it's like a... Yeah, it's like a cinnamon chai, like very heavily spiced. So it was only fitting that I put it in the sriracha cup, right? So yeah. Okay, so the other finished object that I have, which I'm very excited about, is it was cold. It finally got really cold the other day. It's been a wonderful, super lovely winter. Since it turned winter, and it hasn't really gone anything below like 30 degrees Fahrenheit here in New York City. So we've been spoiled up until a couple of days when it got rainy, it got windy, and it got cold. And I woke up and I was freezing, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to knit the Malabrigo yarn, the Rasta that I purchased at Rhinebeck this year, because that was the intention. When I saw it, I'm like, this is going to be an awesome, super warm hat. And I finished it. This took me an entire day, less than a day actually, I cast on in the morning. Me and Dennis went house hunting, and I knit in the car. We went to like, I think 5 open houses that day. And I just, like, during the car ride, I just knit and knit and knit on this. And I actually improvised the pattern. I took a measurement of my head, which was like 21 inches, and then did a quick little gauge, not a full one, just a quick thing to measure out, you know, how many stitches per inch and stuff like that, which with super bulky yarn, yeah, I mean, I wrote the pattern down, so I will, of course, if you're interested, write up a quick little free pattern for you guys, but it's just a super simple slouchy hat, of course. But yeah, here's what it looks like on. So I've been on a hat knitting kick, guys. I mean, the colors are totally made. It's like purples, teals, grays, navy blues, and it's so warm. Oh my gosh. Hang on, I'm just making it a side view of it. And this is totally blocked too. It was a little stiff when I first put it on, but it's so cozy, you guys. This is the first time I'm knitting with this yarn. It's the colorway is actually Lotus, so it's really pretty and warm. I don't want to take it off right now. I really don't. Maybe I won't. I won't take it off. But yeah, I blocked it and I love it. This is my new go-to hat. I have a new hat, yay! So it was actually funny though, because when me and Dennis were pulling stuff out to put into storage and, you know, just going through the closet, pulling out stuff that we don't need immediately, I found all these hats that I knit for Dennis. I didn't realize I knit him so many hats, but he's like, see, I don't need any more hats. I'm like, but you like getting new hats. Anyway, the man has about 6 hats that I knit for him. I almost took a photo, but I didn't because I wasn't happy with the lighting. I don't know. That's my type A, I guess. But yeah, it was just fun to go through all the hats that I knit him over the years. I think there's 2 Brooklyn tweed hats. There's like Turner Square, and then the other one, I can't remember the name of it. And then, anyway, if I get them together, I'll take a photo of them. But yeah, he has a lot of hats. So yeah, that's what's off my needles. I think I should talk more about knitting this because, yeah, I had issues. You figure it's bulky weight yarn. It knits up super quick, which it does. But the largest size needles that I had to knit with these, well, I have a couple of large needles, but I don't really knit with bulky weight yarn all that often, ever, if at all. But when I knit this, the only US size 13 needles I had were obviously the ones you get at Michael's. They're like the metal with the stiff, the metal circulars with like the stiff cable. And it was just really, I think I have a callus actually because it was so hard to kind of like knit each stitch. I don't know, it just wasn't jiving, and that just kind of turned me off from knitting with bulky weight yarn in the future. But I was listening to Isabel of Fluffy Fibers, the Fluffy Fibers podcast, and she, you know, reminded me that, you know, granted she was talking about sewing machines, which if you have not, I'm jumping topics here, but anyway, Isabel from the Fluffy Fibers podcast said that, you know, sometimes it's not you that is the problem when you're, you know, either sewing or knitting or whatever. It's generally the tools that you're using. And yes, the tools that I'm using or I used to knit with this was probably not the most effective, or the tool that I should have been using. I should have been using better, larger size needles, if you will. But yes, anyway, Fluffy Fibers podcast, definitely check her out. She's based in France. It's an English podcast, but she has the most lovely voice ever. I really enjoyed listening to her. I have, as I've been doing in the morning, just listening to podcasts as I package yarns that I'm shipping and stuff like that, and just getting kind of like administrative things done. But yeah, she's just really lovely to have going on in the background. And yeah, so, you know, she talks about knitting and sewing and whatnot. So definitely check her out. And someone actually mentioned that they really enjoyed me talking about English podcasts that are not specifically based in America. So there's another one for you. But anyway, hi, Isabel. So anyway, okay, so finished object number 2. Okay, now I'm getting kind of toasty. I have the heat on like to 74 or something like that. Yeah, so I'll just take that off for now. Still on the needles. Let me see. Whew, okay, going down. And I'm back. And I'm in tangles, apparently. So, as you know, I've been test knitting a pattern for Ellie of FO and Dye. I mean, I was getting caught up in the microphone. So I've been test knitting the Endurance Shawl by Ellie from FO and Dye, who I just heard is not feeling well. She's actually very ill right now, and I would love to send out my well wishes to her and Dave and her kid, her family and everything like that. So I hope she's doing better by the time this is posted. But yeah, I was knitting on this and thinking of her and just, I hope you feel better, Ellie. But yeah, so anyway, I've been working on the Endurance Shawl, which is a slow but steady progress. But yeah, as you can see, it has like some textured ribs in there. Yeah, that's a focus. You can probably see better now, like it has like a twisted ruffle at the edge, and then some textured stitching in here. And it's kind of reminding me of a jellyfish, because it's supposed to be like this thin scarf that wraps around and has like a little bit of shaping, and then it's just like one of those thin long scarves, or a scarf, as Ellie calls it. So, and this is on my blitzed base in the Poe colorway. So superwash merino, nylon, and Selena. So it sparkles. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call this my my jellyfish shawl, because it looks like a jellyfish tentacle. That's what I was getting at. So yeah, it's a slow but steady progress, but it's very meditative. So even while it's taking me forever and ever and ever to knit, it's very enjoyable, and it's definitely potato chip knitting. So yeah, I think I'm halfway done. I'm almost there, Ellie. But yeah, I'm plugging away on that. And these are on my Knit Picks Caspian needles. Let's see, and it's size US 4, I believe. Yeah, and they haven't broken yet. They have not broken yet, but they are interchangeables. So I constantly I find myself twisting them together as I'm knitting, because they easily come untwisted while I'm knitting, which is a little annoying, but I'm not complaining. So yeah, that's one thing on the needles. The other thing, oh my God, all right. The other thing, because I got startitis, like you do, I cast this on, and I have another gripe to pick, or beef to pick, bone to pick. There we go. A beef to pick? Wow, Kristen, that's original. I'm just making stuff up now, you guys. Okay, but yeah. So I cast on this pattern. It's called the Dots Shawl by, oh gosh, what is it? Casa Pinka. Which is a lovely, I saw it and I was like, oh, that's so pretty. And it looks so simple. It's like all these, it's a textured dot pattern, and it kind of reminds me of, the candy dots that you see, obviously, probably like if you were ever a child, which I'm sure all of you were at some point, and you eat candy, you saw like those white strips with like the colorful candy dots, and every time you pick one off, you get like the paper on the end, and it's gross, but still kind of sugary. You get your sugar fix or whatever. That's what it reminds me of. And I saw it and I was just like, oh, this is going to be such a fun pattern to knit. And it's super simple and supposedly supposed to be very potato chippy. I'm not having fun with it. And I'll tell you why in a second. But yeah, here's what it looks like close up. And this, the gray is my yarn, my hand-dyed yarn, in the new Vogue. It's a single ply, 100% superwash merino, single ply base in the Poe colorway. And then the color dots are on my Blitz base in fairy hair. So as you can see, this really this pattern is amazing for showing off like variegated yarns, like just little pops of color everywhere on this very neutral base. And again, it looks like candy dots. But yeah, the one thing that was driving me nuts is my needles. Again, the tools. For some reason, I own like 6 pairs of US size 6 needles on bamboo. I don't know why. I don't own any other brand of needles because I clearly knit a lot of shawls on US size 6. But I'm starting to think I should invest in better needles on US size 6 because when I was knitting this, the points on the bamboo were just so dull, and I even tried filing them down, but it wasn't doing anything. So of course I dug into my needle stash, and the only other pair of US size 6s that I could find were these metal ones. What is wrong with me? Granted, these are making the process a little bit easier. Just creating, these aren't noops or anything, they're knots. Hang on. Yoink. Okay. They are knots. They're not like noops or, bobbles or anything. They're simple knots that are really easy to create if I had sharper needles. And I think these are making it a lot easier. So I posted something on Instagram asking you guys what I should do. Should I frog it? And you're like, yes, frog it. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to enjoy it later. But the product I'm going to love. That's the one thing that's keeping me going with this, because I really, really love the way it's knitting up. And hopefully these knitting needles, because I really don't want to, like right now, I just don't want to invest in, I'll see how these work, but in the long run, I'm going to invest in some better US size 6 needles because this is bananas. I should own a pair of really good, sharp US size 6 needles. But yeah, I'm really liking this pattern. In general, yeah. And the goal is to have it done for the panel. So I want to wear it for the panel, just because, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, otherwise that is the dots pattern. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's wonderful. It's just make sure if you're going to cast this on, make sure you have sharp needles. That's all I'm going to say about it. Otherwise, it's a lovely, lovely pattern. And yeah, I will actually have some of this yarn if you love it. I will have some of this in the next shop update. The colorway is shown here. I was kind of teetering between Fairy Hair and Phantom Fathom, which is kind of like a teal yellow, really pretty aquamarine variegated colorway. But I settled on the pink. I don't know why. I really don't know why. So yeah, that's on the needles. And here's Fairy Hair. Caked up. Yeah, it sparkles. And just FYI, guys, I know it doesn't really photograph well on my website, but my Blitz base has 5% stellina in it, and it is, even though 5% is very little, it's sparkly. So you must love sparkle if you are interested in my Blitz base. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, if you must love sparkle, because this sparkles. And again, this is Poe on the new Vogue base, which is a single ply, and it's really lovely. But yeah, let me show you in comparison, because I'm knitting Ellie's test knit. It's a little crinkled here, but I'm knitting Ellie's test knit in Poe as well, but on my Blitz base, so you can see the difference. If that wants to focus, that would be awesome. There we go. If you can see some of the sparkle. No. But you get the idea. So yeah. More tea. So I think that's it for what I'm knitting at the moment. So I'm just going to move on to spinning, because I am spinning. Despackle. Right. So where I am with the despackle, as you know, I purchased a bullseye bat from Loop. Which, hang on, my necklace is going all over the place. But yes, this is my Loop bat called Violets, and it's 5.3 ounces of merino, nylon, and Angelina. So this is how much is left so far. I believe I've spun about like 1.5 ounces. I don't know, I have to weigh it, but this is where I am at so far. I'm making a lot of progress, you guys. And I, again, am plying on the fly, which I demoed for you guys last week. And I am so glad you guys found that helpful. A lot of you have been messaging me on Ravelry and Instagram and stuff like that, like letting me know how helpful that was. So I'm glad. And if I can answer any more questions about spinning, I'm more than happy to. So, oh, and this is my new amazing Spanish peacock spindle that I treated myself to. And it's spinning up beautifully. I really, really enjoy spinning with it. It's so light and airy and, yeah. And I've just kind of like been inchworming my way. And some of you have been asking me, how do you check twist? Like, how do you know how much twist to put into something if you are playing on the fly? So I'll just show that to you right now while I have this business going. So, okay, so you spin a single. Yes, I'm doing this again. I'll just do a little bit because I don't want to take up the whole entire memory card. Okay, so you do your chain ply and then unwind, hook it around, spin in the opposite direction, and then you kind of just have to eyeball it when you're checking for twist. And when you think you have enough twist, you stop and then you do a drape. Now you see that little kink right there? That might mean again, I'm by no means an expert on drop spindling at all. This is just my way of doing it. It depends how tight you want your twist to be. So right now this is kinking up on itself a little bit and you're getting a little waviness in there. To me, for me personally, I think that's a little too kinky, so to speak. So when that happens, I just spin back in the opposite direction, just to loosen the twist a little bit, and then I let it drape. And once I have that nice little, but once I have a nice drape going, for me, I'm satisfied with that, and I think that creates a really nice twist. I don't know if I can get that to focus. Ugh. Okay. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a nice Mach 3 ply right there. And then you just wind it on again. So yeah, my cup is getting fat. It's getting fatter by the ounce, right? Yeah. So I'm not going to spin anymore on the air, but oh my gosh, the fiber, it matches my dress. I love mauve. Okay, so now that I showed that to you, the other thing I've been giving some love to, I'm sorry if my necklace is clinking on the microphone. I should take the necklace off because I don't want that to bug you guys. It's one last thing. So, okay, the other thing that I've been giving some much love to this week is on my Aaron Make Stuff drop spindle. Yay! So, how fun is that? I just can't get enough of like showing this off. It's purple, grays, peach, totally me. But yeah, I've been spinning, again, plying on the fly with my Gourmet Stash in her Hedwig colorway, which is this awesome like gray, white, and it's like a variegated combination of gray and white and black, and oh my god, and Stellina. It is so pretty and so soft, you guys. I'm loving it. And if you're curious, like how each spindle, like between this spindle and the Spanish Peacock spindle, they both spin. Like I'm still getting the same weight. It's just all, and this is actually a heavier, I forgot how heavy it is actually, but it's a heavier spindle. Granted, with the lightness of the Spanish Peacock one, I feel like I can spin longer, but this one is, I feel, is more meant for like a DK weight to a worsted weight yarn. The heavier the spindle, the better it is for creating worsted to DK weight yarn, or sport weight even. But yeah, I am actually spinning this as a fingering weight. So it is, you can definitely get a fingering weight yarn out of a heavier weight spindle. It's all in the wrist, you guys. That's That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this too. But yeah, lots of spinning, guys. I know. So, and I know the despackle is a huge commitment. I mean, I know Molly from Homespun House she wants to join, but she's a little apprehensive, and yeah, exactly. It's a huge commitment. 4 months to spin like at least 400, yards of yarn on your drop spindle, and then knitting a whole shawl. It's a challenge. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well I do. But I am so excited to see all the beautiful stuff that's going to come out of this, because I know you guys are awesome, and I know you're excited about it, and I know you're really into it. But yeah, I know I haven't been posting that much in the chatter thread, but I have been going through it and just seeing what you guys have been, doing, and all the fiber that you're choosing, and the spindles, and oh my gosh, I'm continually amazed. So this is going to be so much fun. So keep it up, guys. Yay. More to come on that. So now we're on to Just Can't Get Enough. The segment where I talk about what I'm obsessing over, or stuff that I just can't get enough of. Let me see. What have I been obsessing over this past week? Well, me and Dennis were driving in the car, and a song came on the radio, and I was like, oh my gosh, this song is awesome. Like, what is it? And of course, Dennis didn't know. We both didn't know. So I pulled out my Shazam app on my iPhone and Shazammed it, if you will. And it was Elle King's X's and O's. So I've had that song stuck in my head all week long, and I've just been singing it in my head, and it's crazy. So that's one thing that I'm obsessing over. And apparently she has a new album coming out, but it's not coming out until February. I don't know. But anyway, I've been having a lot of fun listening to her stuff on Spotify on repeat. Yeah, so I don't know how to describe her music. It's kind of soulish, rockish. Yeah, I don't know. I don't do well with genres, but anyway, I know what I like. So there's that. And then Shamika, who won one of the giveaway prizes last week, contacted me on Ravelry and told me about this awesome stripe generator. I will post a link to it, but I just found myself playing with it, like seeing how different colors interact with each other. It's really kind of, it gives you a lot of inspiration if you have like all these colors, colorways that you want to play with but don't know if they go well together. But it's a random stripe generator, and it's on biscuitsandjam.com. So it lets you choose as many colors as you want, as many repeats as you want, and then it generates a different pattern. And I just found myself playing for several minutes to a point where I'm just like, I gotta stop now. So yeah, I will post a link to that. Definitely check it out. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I can't get enough of this week. Because you asked. Okay, we got another question. So yeah, again, like if you have any questions any questions related to knitting, hand dyeing, podcasting, what have you, just post it in the Because You Asked thread. So Ine on Ravelry asks, so I was knitting with some Malabrigo Silky Merino and realized after the fact that the skeins were not really matched. Boo. That is a boo. I really don't want to rip out all the knitting. Yep, I know I should have alternated the skeins. Hee hee. Is there anything I can do to save it? Overdying? Any suggestions for how I could do this, or what you have done if it has ever... Any suggestions for how I could do this, or what you have done if this has ever happened to you? Okay, if you remember a while back... I knit a Valinda cardigan. I think it was by Bon Marie Burns. I don't know, but it was a green cardigan. And I started knitting it out of some yarn that I had languishing in my stash. This is when I was living at our other place. It was called, it was Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in their grass colorway, which is a bright grassy green. And I had like 2 skeins in my stash, and I cast on this pattern. So obviously I didn't have enough to knit a whole cardigan out of it, so I ordered more yarn. And as I was knitting, of course I realized that the dye lots were mixed up. So the ribbing and maybe like a portion of the body was a darker green than the rest of the cardigan. And I knit so much into it already. I already had it started, so I just went with it. But yeah, after I was done with the cardigan, I really wasn't happy with the fact that the band was like a slight shade darker than the rest of the cardigan. That's before I was dying. So it happens. My advice to you is, are you interested in over dyeing? One thing you could do, what I would suggest, is you could do a very nice ombre over dye, if you will. Like if you love the ombre effect, like have a darker or different shade, from the ribbing bottom up. It can go from like, let's say it's, I'm not sure what color you're using, but like, let's say the whole thing was knit white. And the bottom part was a slight shade of gray. You could dip dye it. So the bottom part is maybe like a dark blue and it gradually fades into a light blue all the way to white. You could go either which way. That's what I would do, or you could just over dye the entire thing altogether and get some kind of really funky effect. Maybe just something slightly darker than the color that you did. And also consult a color wheel. Like if you are gonna over dye, make sure that it's a complementary color, like a shade that you can easily blend with it. If you go across the color wheel, it'll still have like an interesting effect, but it might be a little muddier than the original colorway. Just be cognizant of that. But yes, I think over dyeing would be your best bet. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions for Ine, post about it in the Because You Asked thread. Otherwise, that is my suggestion, and I hope that helped. But yeah, if you have any dyeing questions about that, feel free to contact me. But the way I would do it, I would do like an ombre dip dye. Yeah, that's how I would do it. But yeah, okay. So I hope that was helpful. And I will post a link to the Valinda cardigan that I knit so you can see what I was talking about, or maybe actually overlay an image of the project when I talk about it, if I haven't already. So, okay, I think that is it. So I'm going to talk about shop update stuff and then followed by blather. So if you're not interested, Happy New Year, and I will see you next week, hopefully. Yes, I believe next week. So if things don't get too crazy. Oh, okay, before I sign off with you guys, I do want to talk about, I will be doing a meet and greet with Maria from the Subway Knits podcast at Vogue Knitting Live on Saturday, which I believe is the 17th. Is it the 17th? I could lie. Let me check I apologize. Yes, okay, it's January 17th from 12 to 1, if I have time. I will be there, but I hope, probably just for a short while because of all this moving craziness. I will be making an appearance with Maria from Subway Knits at Vogue Knitting Live. More details to follow, but I will be there for meet and greet. I will have mini skeins in hand or promotional items from Voolenvine yarns or YarnGasm. So definitely stop by, say hello. I will, again, post links or show information in the show notes when I know more about where we're going to meet and everything like that. But I just wanted to let you guys know I will be there for a brief period. And also, One Geek to Craft Them All will have a booth there. This is all new to me because I wasn't going to make an appearance at all, but Maria let me know, just asked if I'd be interested in swinging by for a little bit. So I'm going to make it happen. But yes, One Geek to Craft Them All will have a booth there, and she will have some of my mini skeins to give away and cards and whatnot. So definitely stop by her booth, get some of her stitch markers because they're awesome. And grab a mini skein from me. So I will be there in spirit when I'm not there. But anyway, okay, shop update. I will see you next time if you're not interested. Happy knitting. Okay. Whoop. Okay. I feel like I'm babbling as usual. Let me go get the stuff that I'm going to show you. Okay, so my card ran out of memory, so I'm working with a new card now. But anyway, shop update stuff. well, the Vampire Romance Yarn Club will be shipping out next week. So stay tuned for that if you signed up. So yay. And what else? Okay, Valentine's Day colorways. Those are coming down the pike as well. And I already started experimenting with some new colorways yesterday. I don't really have too much to show you guys this week on the podcast, only because I didn't have time to dye up any more stuff. But just a sneak peek of what is going to be in the Valentine's Day repertoire, if you will. So this colorway, you can see it, is on my Volca base, which is superwash merino cashmere nylon. And this is Lust Fast, Love Hard colorway that I came out with. So it's like a super saturated, variegated, red, magenta, hints of light pink in there, but I mean, just a really super saturated, vibrant color. So yeah, this is great for garment knitting, but it does have like the nylon in there. So yeah, so if you want to knit socks, you can, but I highly recommend this for knitting garments. Plus you get the extra yardage. I believe it's 435 yards, whereas my Lush base is only 400 yards. So, but yeah, here's two. So there will be this in the shop. And then this is another one that I came out with. I haven't really decided on a name for it yet, but it's like a really dark, plummy red, if you will, like burgundy. It has like hints of gray and black in there. It's like a blackberry red, almost like a currant, which I really love. And this is on my BFL footsie base, which I hope I will be able to get more of in the future, but right now it's on limited reserve. What that means, I don't know, but I'm just not taking any custom orders for it. I'm just dyeing it up as I please, if you will, because I only have so many skeins left of it until I can get my hands on more. But yeah, I haven't decided on a name for this yet, but it's coming down the pike. And I also dyed up some more Neptunia. So again, this is on Volca, and then this one is on Lush. So you can kind of see the difference on the two bases. So this has like a higher twist, which is great for socks, and then this one is like a 4-ply. So you get the idea. So yeah, there's going to be that, and then I'm also going to be releasing one of the Art Nouveau Yarn Club colorways, Water Sprites, on this Friday. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited about that colorway. I have the other colorways coming out soon, which was Tiffany and Yellow Dress. So those will be coming. I will be releasing those gradually into the shop as well. I'm just really, I have to be honest, I'm more excited about Water Sprites. That was my favorite one. And if you join the club, let me know what your favorite one was. I'd love to know. But yeah, those 3 colorways will be coming out very shortly. And then what else? As I mentioned, I will have more of the Nouveau Poe, Nevermore. I'll have more of Fairy Hair in the shop. I'll just be bringing back a couple of regulars and releasing a couple of new colorways. And then I think that is pretty much it. But yeah, I just want to give you a heads up because of all the moving and everything that I've been talking about. I may have some more sporadic shop updates. I've been toying around with the idea of like not having regular shop updates, just to kind of like build inventory, and then releasing them. And I don't know, I might just use this at this time period as like a trial, just to see how that does, just so there's not a lot of pressure on me to have things done by Friday. Otherwise I feel like my creative juices just kind of get squandered. And that's the artist in me talking. But yeah, so I'm going to try and have an update every Friday, but if it doesn't pan out, I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I will let you know when there is an update, and I know I've been kind of switching dates around on the website, because if you go to my website Voolenvine.com, I post a thing underneath the photo saying when the next shop update will be, and I know last week I kind of switch that around. Like first it was Friday, then it was going to be Monday, and then it was going to be Friday again, and it was Friday. But just because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. I know this Saturday we're having a cleaning lady come to deep clean. Not that our apartment is messy or dirty or like that, but there are nooks and crannies that you just don't have time to get to, and we're having her come in and do that because on Sunday we're having an open house. I guess I'm moving into blather right now, but yeah, so we have to just keep our entire apartment super clean and tidy for the open house for the next couple of weeks. I think we're going to have a couple of open houses. And that means for those open houses, me and Dennis and the cat have to leave the apartment for an hour and a half, which would be fine, but we have a cat with us. We can't really go into a museum or go to a restaurant and chill with a cat. I don't know, maybe we'll find a cat cafe that's opened and we can just chill with our cat there, but I don't know. I think those are, they closed the only cat cafe right now in New York City, so we'd have to go to Japan for that. But anyway, I'm digressing. We'll find something, fun to do. Anyway, what else blatherwise? That's pretty much it. That's what's been taking over my life and our lives and everything like that. But yeah, it's snowing. We finally got snow that's sticking. It snowed yesterday. It was coming down. The cat loved it. She just sat by the window all day long, looking at the snow, looking at I never saw a cat so mesmerized by snow before, but she was. But yeah, we have snow finally. It's getting colder. And other than that, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. I'm really looking, as I mentioned last week, I'm looking forward to having a new space. And yeah, so, all right. I think I'll stop blathering and let you guys get back to your knitting or whatever it is you would like to do today. So that said, I will see you next time and happy knitting. Bye.